What up, guys? Ben Clark over here at Lincoln Tech. Today I'm going to give you kind of a quick rundown on plasma and plasma cutting and why we use it. We just got in these nice Spectrum 875s. They're kind of nice because not only do they plasma cut, but they gouge, which is kind of unheard of. Just kind of a quick, rundown on what plasma is. A lot of people like to tend to think there's only three states of matter, solid, liquid, and gas, but there's actually four. And the fourth being plasma. And what's funny is that it's actually the most common state of matter in the entire universe. The biggest example of this is the sun. And how that works basically is, the sun's heat will rip electrons off of hydrogen and helium molecules that make up the sun. And when basically that gas goes through a giant spark, the sun, it turns into plasma. And so all you're really doing with this is you're adding air to force that heat through a condensed, way, giving us plasma. So as you'll see, I have it on right here. Normally, if I don't have, say, pressure, which is right here hooked up to it, I can actually run this out to show you. So ran the gas down. Always run a plasma cutter with gas, it will overheat. So you'll see that now I need pressure. So all it would do, you're just gonna give it pressure back into it. It turns right off, no biggie. These machines are nice because they have cut and gouge. Cutting's obviously straight for your cuts, and gouging is for if you're gonna go into the back side of a weld to get some full penetration. You're cutting a deep metal with a thin toe or like a root, and you need to open one side up or the back or anything. You can gouge without actually cutting through the plate. You can adjust your amperage right on the front, 20 to 60. Adjusting your amperage on this machine will actually adjust your kerf as well. Your kerf is the size of your cutting cone. Obviously with it going up to 60, I wouldn't use 60 amps on 22 gauge, it's just gonna blow a huge cutting line through it. You kind of want to find the minimum amount of heat you need to make a nice clean cut without making a giant, 1/8 inch travel, pattern or something like that for cutting. Basic torch, these ones have a nice little safety feature that you click on. Never try to run plasma without cutting something. It's not good for the contact tips, and they tend to go bad a lot quicker. Obviously with this, it's brand new and I'm not insanely worried about her running on it. Another thing that we do when we're, plasma cutting is we're gonna make sure that there's nothing around us that can catch fire. So for example, this power cord right here, that's not gonna fly. Also look into what you're cutting on. When you cut onto something, make sure that there's not flammable stuff. These tables originally had this screen grating in it, which I took out because you can see that ain't gonna work with this. It's pretty heavy duty. You can get away with using a table like this for smaller plasma cutting, but as far as this large one, that's not what you want. I got some, 1/4 inch steel plate right here. I'm gonna show you how to cut in a second. But basically when we're doing this cut is, with plasma, unless we have a hole or a starting point, we really do not want to start dead over the plate. You can, but it's called piercing and you're gonna get sprayed. So if you're not ready for that, that's not fun. But instead what we do is we start just a little bit off of the corner. That's what's gonna get your arc going to where it'll cut down and in, but ain't gonna spray everywhere. And then you can just slowly, at your speed that you need to cut or whatever, travel along to where you're gonna reach at. Like I said, you really want to start on that edge. Not only does it give you just a better, cleaner cut, but you're not going to spray out everywhere. It ain't going to go well for you if you try to do that. So, right here in a sec, then I'll try and fire her up. We'll see how this goes, one-handed. Usually don't recommend stuff like that, but for the sake of a video, we can make something happen here. So as you see, I have it set it about 50 for 1/4 inch. I was cutting on it earlier. It was cutting like butter. I could probably even turn it down a little bit, but for the sake of video, we'll just roll with this. So safety, got air going to it. Starting on the corner, just gonna make a slow, nice cut this way.
As you can see, that fan's still running. What that's doing is that's not only cooling the tip off, but it's actually going into the machine and helping that cool off as well. These things get hot. It is high energy. There's a lot going on in there. So you got to make sure, especially when if that fan's running, you don't turn the machine off, or you don't, let the hose run its course so that it's, working. We're stuck there. Yep, and there's your cut. One-handed, not very steady. Sorry about that, but yeah, cut right through it. All you do then is, clean her up to what you need, and that's pretty much it. I can't wait to kind of use this with the students and see what they start coming up with on their own, and I'm really excited to, get in here and start getting at her.